90 minutes are gone, the lights over the desert stadium burn white, and a number sits on the screen that no human being has ever owned before. 18 World Cup goals, across 6 tournaments, across 2 decades of a single life. The man who scored them is 38 years old, and he is not finished. The record they will write about tomorrow morning is the largest in the sport. And yet, if you had asked him in the silence afterward, he would have told you something strange. The record was never the thing he actually came back for. To understand this, you have to understand the arithmetic of an ending. Lionel Messi is not a young man chasing a beginning. He has already won it. In 2022, in Qatar, he lifted the only trophy that had ever escaped him, and the world agreed the story was complete. He could have walked away a champion and never been doubted again. Instead, 4 years later, he came back. Older, slower in the legs, if not the mind. Carrying the weight of a title nobody asked him to defend. This is not a debut. This is a man returning to the scene of his own perfect ending. Argentina arrived in Group J as defending champions, which is its own kind of curse. Everybody studies you. Everybody wants the scalp. Scaloni named his squad, and at the heart of it, unchanged, untouchable, was the same number 10 who had carried them before. The question hanging over the camp was not whether Messi would play. It was whether he could still be the difference, week after week, in a tournament that had been redrawn into something far larger than any World Cup before it. 48 teams, a longer road, more nights where everything depends on one man finding one moment. The first answer came against Algeria, and it came with a violence the doubters were not ready for. 17th minute, Messi. 60th minute, Messi. 76th minute, Messi. A hat-trick, 3 goals, 1 man, in a single defending champion opener. And it was not even the biggest line in the story. This was his 200th cap for Argentina. It made him the first human being to play in 6 World Cups. 6. Tournaments stretched across an entire generation of football, and he had walked onto the grass for all of them. The crowd did not cheer a player that night. They cheered a monument that could still move. And the hat-trick did something else, something the statisticians felt before the rest of us did. 16 World Cup goals now sat next to his name. The same number exactly as Miroslav Klose. For 16 years, the German had stood alone at the summit of the sport's greatest tournament, the most ruthless World Cup finisher there had ever been. Now a 38-year-old Argentine had pulled level in a single night against Algeria in a group game most of the planet half-watched. The record that everyone assumed would stand for decades was suddenly within touching distance. 1 more goal. That was all that separated him from history. 6 days later came Austria, and with it the night the record fell. The 38th minute, Messi steps in, the ball leaves his foot, and a number that had stood since 2014 simply ceases to be the ceiling. 18. He had not just equaled Klose, he had passed him, alone, the outright all-time leading scorer in men's World Cup history. There was no one ahead of him anymore. The summit of the sport's biggest stage now had a single name carved into it, and it was his. And the frightening part is that it happened almost casually in a group game. But here is the detail the highlight reels will quietly skip. Argentina led 1-0, and then they stalled. The defending champions failed to build on the lead. The second half against Austria became a nervous, gummed-up game that good teams escape and great teams suffocate, and for long stretches, Argentina did neither. They held their breath, they waited, they looked like a side that knew exactly who would have to rescue the night. 90 minutes plus 5, deep into stoppage time, the answer arrived the only way it ever does. Messi again. A brace, the lead doubled, the points secured. So look at what the scoreboard actually says after 2 games. 2 matches, 2 wins, 2 clean sheets. Qualification to the round of 32 already sealed, the group all but won. 5 goals for Argentina across the opening week. And every single one of them, all 5, scored by the same man. Not assisted by him, scored by him. A 38-year-old has personally produced 100% of his nation's attack while his country defends a World Cup. It reads like a coronation, a king returning to claim what is his. But a coronation is a story you tell about the past, and this tournament is not over. Now we have to be honest, because the easy version of this story is a lie. The easy version says, legend returns, breaks the record, lifts the trophy, walks into the sunset. Football has never once been that kind. Here is the question the perfect start is hiding. Argentina are not winning because 11 men are playing brilliantly. Argentina are winning because 1 man is. Strip out those 5 goals and ask yourself what is left. A defending champion that stalled at 1-0 against Austria. A team that for 90 minutes looked like it was waiting to be saved. Because this is the largest World Cup ever staged. 48 teams, a longer, crueler gauntlet than any champion has ever had to survive. And the knockouts are a different animal entirely. In the group stage, you can ride 1 genius through soft defending and forgiving margins. In a knockout, a single bad 90 minutes ends everything. There is no next match to put it right. And the great defensive sides, the ones built precisely for these nights, do not panic and chase. They sit, they suffocate, they plan their whole evening around stopping exactly 1 player. So picture the night that is coming, the one this whole campaign is quietly walking toward. A defense finally smothers him. 3 bodies between Messi and the ball every time he turns. The space that fed those 5 goals simply gone. And in that moment, the question the Coronation has been hiding finally has to be answered out loud. What happens when the other 10 have to win it themselves? Can they, or have they been allowed, all tournament, to lean on a 38-year-old's shoulders and call it a system? That is the real test, not the record, the night the record cannot save them. And yet, before we bury a man who has buried every doubt placed in front of him for 20 years, remember who we are talking about. This is the player who answered Qatar's pressure with a final for the ages, who has spent a career making the impossible night look routine. The tension here is not doom, it is the most human kind of suspense there is. Can one man at 38, in the last World Cup he will ever play, drag an entire nation across the most punishing road the tournament has ever drawn and finish the story on his own terms, not anyone else's, his? Because endings, real endings, are not clean. They are earned in the moments where the legend is supposed to fade and refuses. Klose's record was supposed to stand for a generation, and Messi erased it in 2 games. Argentina was supposed to be a team in transition, easing a champion into retirement, and instead they are 2 wins and 2 clean sheets into a title defense. Every easy assumption about how this fades has already been wrong. So maybe the smarter question is not whether he can carry them. Maybe it is how anyone ever convinced themselves he could not. Here is the verdict, as honestly as it can be given right now. As of this week, Messi is the outright greatest goalscorer the World Cup has ever produced, and he reached it while powering a defending champion through the opening rounds. That part is no longer an opinion. It is on the board. But greatness in a group stage and greatness in a knockout are 2 different mountains. The record is secure, the crown is not. The story is genuinely, thrillingly unfinished, balanced on the one thing it has always been balanced on, whether the rest of them can be worthy of him when it matters most. And that is the thing nobody outside the man himself will ever fully understand. The record was always going to come. 18 goals, the most in history, his name alone at the top. All of it was a matter of arithmetic the moment he stepped onto the grass against Algeria. He knows that. He has known it for years. A man does not return at 38 to defend a World Cup for a number on a screen. He does not survive a 48-team gauntlet for a line in a record book he had already half written. There is only one prize on earth large enough to justify coming back. He came back to do it again. To stand in the chaos of a knockout night, 3 defenders draped over him, a nation holding its breath, and prove that Qatar was not luck or twilight, but a man who refuses to leave the stage on anyone's terms but his own. The record was never the thing he actually came back for. The record is just the receipt. What he came back for is the trophy at the end of the cruelest road the World Cup has ever built. And the only question left, the one this whole coronation has been hiding, is whether the story lets him finish it.